This improv story is based on the idea man shrinks clothes, let the story commence. Craig put his clothes in the washing machine and then he went to hang them up. The problem was it was cold and wet outside and he couldn't hang them up outside on his clothesline. So he thought, I'll hang them where the clothes horse that I've got. Problem is, he needed these clothes dry for the morrow because he was going for a job interview. He thought, I know, he didn't have a tumble dryer either. I'll stick them where the radiator. That's what I'll do. Problem is, he stuck them where the radiator, put the radiators up full fucking blast, and left them there for quite a while. He set the timer so that it went to about 3 in the morning, then he switched it, then it would switch off, and then it would start about 7 in the morning. He would get up about 8. That'd probably be fine. When he checked his clothes, that wouldn't shrink them. That would. But wait. Does drying over radiator shrink? Okie dokie. Right. Wait a minute. Sure, are you sure? Wait a minute. Tumble dryers cause them to shrink. Right? What? Are you sure? Come on, hurry up. Shrink. Oh, washing clothes in water that's too hot is the primary cause of clothes shrinking. Right, that's fine. Right. Wait. Seriously? Really? Right, wait a fucking minute. I have been deliberately... Right, wait a minute. What causes... Wait a minute. I have been deliberately no putting certain wet clothes, like say jumper type of things or t-shirts, air the radiator to dry because I thought that shrunk them a bit. So I would maybe... What causes it to shrink? Wash too hot. Is that it? The tumble dry. Right, so tumble drying. Why does tumble drying cause it to shrink? If it gets too hot. Right? The heat. Too hot, too quick. So, if you put wet clothes over a hot radiator, that would cause it to shrink. Why are you fucking saying no in caps? Like I'm pure. That's a ridiculous thing to think. What makes a tumble dryer shrink clothes? The heat, Limmy. The heat. Right? So if I put the clothes over an equally as hot radiator, would it shrink? No! It's not equal as hot. It's not as hot. A radiator isn't as hot. Well, what's the fucking heat? What kind of heat we talking? Because you can stick your radiators up so fucking hot you can't even touch it. Tumble dryers enclosed, radiators in the open. And? The speed of the heat. What's the... Right, obviously you might not know. What is it? Fucking Egypt of a man. Who said that? Who said that? It's a non-sub, I'm not going to bother. You must be at it. Jazz. How must I be at it? How must I be at it? Nothing I'm saying here is like pure obvious and ridiculous. Right, listen. Evaporation rates faster than a tumble dryer. Obviously a tumble dryer dries clothes quicker than sticking to the fucking radiator. But I want to know, right? This is the problem I've got with a lot of people. This is a problem I've got with a lot of yous and a lot of normal people. Is yous just go like that? The tumble dryer, it's kind of a lot hotter, so that shrinks the clothes. The radiator isn't as hot, so that doesn't shrink the clothes. And I'm like, right, what? Right, that's how you think, right? Very, very simple. Very, very simple, like children. Now, me, the problem I've got in life is that isn't good enough. That's not a good enough explanation. I am a scientist. I'm a man of science. I've actually got letters after my name. BSc, Bachelor of Science. Because I got a Bachelor of Science in Multimedia Technology. What temperature? For how long? Going from what temperature to what temperature? What's the science? What causes it? Exactly what causes it. Now, I have pulled clothes out of the radiator, out of the tumble dryer years ago. I've not had one for fucking ages. And say the metal bits that are on a pair of denims, they're like fucking Jesus Christ. You know, like the zip somewhere that's like fucking hot, right? So I know it can get... Magic Canine, nae cunt is reading that fucking wall of text. In fact, I want to read that. When your clothes are washed, they will absorb a lot of water and therefore feel larger in size due to this swelling. As a tumble dryer will use a high heat to dry the clothes, the forced air from this heat will cause the fibres of the clothing to constrict, causing shrinkage. Right there, I'm like, why? The forced air from this heat, so you heat it up and the forced air from it, as in the evaporation, causes it to constrict. How? Why does doing it fast or slow cause shrinkage or not shrinkage? The shrinking of clothes can also be caused by the rotating mechanism of tumble dryers. This constant tossing of clothes can cause the materials to constrict and suffer damage, which will lead them to shrink. You would see, if I was to say to you that tumbling something will stretch it. Imagine you have never heard of tumble dryers before, right? And I said the tumbling causes it to stretch. You would go, oh, I can see why that would be, aye. Because you're sort of like doing that and it's sort of getting pulled a wee bit here and there sometimes. If I said it causes it to shrink, I can see why that is, because it's got things landing on it, so it's kind of getting compressed into it, and that causes it to... No, because then you're pushing it and pulling it. And fibres coil up in the heat, causing it to contract. I see. Basically like putting like fucking... Are you saying sort of like if you were to put bacon on a high heat on a frying pan, imagine, it will start to fucking curl up in that kind of way, you know, that sort of thing. But if you were to put bacon on a low heat, for a long time, I'm imagining, it just sort of cooks completely fucking flat. Something like that. Right. Right. Well, my thinking was it. See, I have put t-shirts and things like that air the radiator when it's at a kind of, it's a bit warm. You touch the radiator, it's nice and warm. But if you ever put the radiators right fucking bastard and right up, I mean, it's that fucking hot. You're like, stay away from it. Like, it'll fucking burn you within a second. Like that. That hot. Like that. That hot would surely cause your clothes to shrink. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. Are you saying that's no even that hot? Are you saying without knowing what radiators I've fucking got, there is no way that could shrink it? Surface heat is different to tumbled heat, for fuck's sake. Why are you for fuck's saking me? 100 degrees is 100 fucking degrees. I know you could say, I know, but it's contained, so it's 100 degrees, but it's fucking here, there, and everywhere. Whereas the radiator, even if it's like maximum 100 degrees on one side, it isn't on the other. So I'm going to get on with this, but are you trying to tell me it is just completely like fucking like binary? Tumble dryer shrinks radiator. Under no circumstances whatsoever can a radiator shrink your t-shirt. Is that what you're telling me? Bullshit. It cannot be done. How can it not be done? I thought it's to do with purely to do with the heat. The radiator would shrink wool. It's a physical impossibility. Why? I'm going to move on. But see if you were to tell me that it needs to reach 150 degrees Celsius, I would say, I get it now. Because the water that goes around the radiators is very, very hot. But it can't really get above 100 maximum. And that's if the fucking water is boiling in the radiator, which it isn't. If you were to tell me that, I go, right, I get it now. And in a tumble dryer, it gets hotter than 100 degrees, you see. I would, and that's what you need for it to shrink. I would go, oh, I get it now. Right, I get it now. But nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying nice, straightforward numbers. Everybody's saying, tumble dryer, yes, radiator, no. No science. Just can't be done. Google it. I just did. Did you not see? And saying it in caps doesn't make a difference. What's that? Radiators are 70 to 90. Tumble dryers can reach 125 to 135. I see. And? Do you know what I mean? And? What's the next bit? The next bit is clothes, in order to shrink, must be at a temperature about 115. Do you know what I mean? Incomplete data. Just accept it. Never! Beast quickly thinks of 200 bits. Wee tip for drying clothes in the winter. Buy a Lakeland drying pod. Great piece of kit. Oh, fuck off. One review. Dries laundry quickly and efficiently. Circulates hot air around your clothes. Right, wait a minute. What's this? What is this? Is this a fucking advert? Zero tolerance 62 bits. It's possible to do with the fact that the radiator would lose too much heat when you put a wet piece of clothing on it. Aye, right, so... Yep, so there's a transference of, like, temperature. Whereas the fucking... The tumble dryer is just constantly bastarding at it. Nah, it's not that. No, it's no. That's wrong. Now you're wrong, mate. Okay. What's this cunt like? For fuck's sake. FFS. B. Jackson, Quack Dog thinks the subs in £3. I went to the chemist all day and asked if you got anything for coronavirus. She said, ammonia cleaner. I said, I'm sorry, I thought you worked here. Ammonia cleaner. Right away, nobody would actually say that. Doesn't it work? Thanks for the sub. I sold everything for the Christmas trip. Suffocates doesn't appear to be buying anyone tickets. It is, Suffocates is paying for the day out. I'm doing an improv story. Suffocates is paying for it. Just keep at it. Keep hammering him on Twitter and in his Twitch when he's streaming. Right in the middle when he's like doing his managing. The whole lot. Keep going on about it. Ryan and B. Jackson, thanks for the subs. Hey, what is this? Drying pod. What is this? Circulates hot air around your clothes. Holds up to 12 items on hangers. No, I don't know about this. Fuck off. Get a size it. That just looks fucking daft. Just plan ahead. Just stick it at the fucking clothes horse, you know, about 12 hours in advance, or like air the radiator. Alright, so let's see. Oh, just a fucking... What? That's... Look at that. That just looks like a fucking death trap. I don't trust that. Don't sue me. I just don't trust it. I don't trust it. Bet it's decent for creases, like. Right, so before I'm going to move on with the story. So you telling me, everybody, that putting something in the other radiator, even if the radiator's hot as fuck, will not shrink it. How did I not know that? Just one wee thing though. Radiator shrink will. Oh, what's this? Avoid placing your garment. What's that? How do I dry wool? Right. Okay, hold on. Ready. When drying, avoid placing your wool garment over the radiator to dry. The part of the garment which is folded over the top of the radiator tends to dry the quickest and can cause the garment to change colour. Bastard, it's still no shrink. I thought I fucking hid you there. Health warning. Right. Radiator shrink. Right, fuck it. Bastard. Anyway. So Craig put his clothes air the radiator. And he was worried that they were going to shrink. But then he looked it up and it turns out they don't shrink. He's like, good. So he went to sleep. When he woke up, he went to get his clothes after the radiator. They had fucking shrunk. They had shrunk. Because you see, the radiators that he had were this new type of radiator that was hot as fuck, that got to about 125 degrees. It used oil. It wasn't water that went in it, it was oil. and oil can get to a far higher temperature. Far, far higher temperature. 125, 150. The oil can get to a far higher temperature than water. See, water boils and then it produces steam. It wants to go turn into steam, and then you end up fucking exploding it. This is an oil heater, and you could get to like about 200 degrees with this fucking thing, right? Oil inside. So really, really hot. Really hot. What kind of oil? Special type of oil, secret recipe that the manufacturers did not want anybody to know about. Like, it's like fucking very, very, very hot. And they shrank. So he went to his job with his trousers were too short. The shirt that he was wearing was too short. Everything was fucked. And he thought, oh no, I might be able to break the ice by telling me the clothes shrank. And that's kind of a funny wee story to tell. It was like kind of office job. And he went in and he said, hi there, and he's sort of chanting away. And he said, can I just say, first of all, I want to apologise for my clothes today. They're a bit short. Oh, what happened? Did you, what happened? They shrank. Oh, you shouldn't have put them in the tumble dryer, said the boss who was interviewing. And this is for a good job, by the way. A lot of money. Really good job. And it was right up his street, this job. He really wanted this job. He was like going through a really bad time. And this job would sort everything out in terms of money, in terms of mental health. Very, very important to him. And he said, no, it was the radiator. And the boss went, they shrank over the radiator? Yeah. So, I just thought I'd explain in case you were looking at me when I came in and went, a lot of people do have trousers that are kind of short like that, but these don't quite suit that style. Over the radiator, did you say? Yeah. That's a lie. I'm sorry. That's a lie. What makes you say that? Clothes don't shrink over the radiator. Do they? They don't. But they did. Well, you're lying. I'm not. Well, I mean, unless oh, you're backpedaling now. No, they were fine. I wore them a few days before. I was at an event thing, a conference thing, job fair thing a few days ago, and I wore it and they were fine. And all I've done, did you wash them at high temperature? Maybe the boss was trying to give him an out. Did you wash them at high temperature? Maybe. No, 30 degrees. Right. Dry clean only? No. So you're sticking with this radiator story then? Well, it's not really a story. I put them over the radiator and they shrank. That's a lie, son. And I'm sick of hearing it. It's not a lie. I'm sick of hearing it. But I'm telling you, why? What makes you say that? Because it can't get that hot. It needs a tremendous amount of heat to shrink. And radiators simply can't get that hot. Well, the radiator I've got is a special radiator that goes really, really hot because it's got oil in it. He said, what kind of oil? What kind of oil? He said, I don't know. It said it's a special recipe that they're keeping secret. Designed by NASA. Yes, raise the tech. Designed by NASA. Because they needed oil for the space station, but in direct sun, it gets hot as fuck. And they needed something that can get hot, but no, like, fuck up. And the boss went like that. I'm telling you that no such device exists to get clothes that hot. And anyway, it's not just about the heat. It's about the tumble dryer, like, traps the heat in. And Craig went, I know, but it's all to do with heat. Doesn't matter if it's trapped in or no. Is it capable to get the clothes that fucking hot? And I'm telling you, what's your fucking language, son? Well, you swore at me because you swore, son. Craig said, look it up, right, fuck this, fuck that. I'm not looking at anything. What, you refuse? You refuse to look through the telescope, Copernicus's telescope. You refuse. What are you talking about, Copernicus? Just look and see, I'll show you. And he looked, he went like, look, there it is, there's what I ordered. He went, let me see this. Right. It's just a radiator. Wait a minute. Special formulated, top secret, NASA the oil means this radiator can reach temperatures of 250 degrees Celsius. That's the heat of that's the heat of an oven. So be sure to keep plenty of distance because this is like a fire. It's sure to get your home very, very warm very, very quickly. Warning. What's this? Warning. Do not put clothes over the radiator as they will shrink. Christ. I didn't know such a thing was possible. And Craig said, well, of course it's possible. If it's the high heat that shrinks clothes, then if you can produce a radiator that has that higher heat, the heat at which the clothes will shrink, then they will naturally shrink. They will naturally fucking shrink. If such a radiator exists. And it does. Because this is real. I'm here for a job. And the boss went, part of me wants to no give you the job because you've made a fool of me. Another part of me doesn't want to give you the job because it did say don't put your clothes over the radiator and you did it. But the fact is, I feel bad. You're right. You're absolutely right. It makes perfect sense. It all makes sense. And I feel fucking stupid for ever doubting you, for thinking it wasn't scientifically possible in this world where all sorts of fucking things are possible. I feel stupid. And you know, I was actually thinking in my head, what's your name again? Craig. I was thinking in my head, for fuck's sake, in FFS. And see if this was actually like a message, I'd be typing in caps. But now I feel stupid because when I think about it, I'm fucking wrong. I'm wrong. And I should think before I open my mouth next time. Craig. And Craig went, it's fine. And Craig said, well, have I got the job? And the guy said, the boss said, of course you got the job. You're the smartest person in this whole fucking building, son. In fact, you know what? Fuck it. And he got out of his seat. Take this. I want you to be the boss. I'll be Craig. And from that point on, Craig was now known as the boss, and the boss was now known as Craig, the end. And that's a true story, because I was fucking Craig. I'm Craig. The one who then became the boss, not the one who was the boss. Alright. Better out of 10? Aye. Better out of fucking 10. All these 2s out of 10, 0 out of 10. That's better out of 10. Cannot face the fucking science. Is that the sort of community we've got here? This is worse than fucking anti-vaxxers. Anti-fucking radiator shrinking fucking glazers.